Hello there, my dear friends. So in this part of the video we'll be looking at how does React router works. So let me just give you a simple explanation and simple summary of what does React router even means. Basically, let's say if you would like to go from page A and you would like, let's say, and then you click a button where I would like to go to this page, second page. So you have to click on a button that should go to a next page. So there's this way that there's only way where we can actually do in a React is actually to go from page A to page B is by actually making use of this React router DOM dependency. So that's what is all React router is all about. Basically, it's about moving from one page to another page. So that's the whole idea of React router even means. And there's more about React router than what I've just said just now. So let me just give you a start by actually, first of all, in order to make use of React router, we need to make sure that we have installed React router inside our dependency here. And as you can see, we won't be actually having React router DOM by default, so we need to manually install it. For example, you need to go to our terminal here, click on npm install, and you need to say React router DOM. So this is the one that we're gonna install directly into our this particular project. Okay, so now it says it has already been installed. So let's go to our package.json and let's just give it a check whether it has already been installed. And there you go, guys. This is React router DOM. It also already been installed successfully. And let's move on with this. So the first thing that we need to go to our index.js, and this is where we're gonna call the first React router. In this case, we need to go to this particular importing set of lines here. Just say import, and you need to have an opening and closing braces like this. And what you need to do, you need to call the first function that we should be using is called browser. Sorry, it's called browser followed by router, and this is the one. And browser router is actually coming from React router DOM itself. This is the first thing that we should be using. So let's copy this browser router, just copy it. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna wrap app.js here, app file here, with this browser router component. So let's go and let's create a component called browser router like this. And also we need to open and closing the browser router, and inside browser router is where we're gonna wrap the app inside here. So let's just give it a tab here, and let's say now we have just wrapped the app.js component with this browser router app. So that's the first step that we should be doing. We have already done the first step here. Now let's go to our second step here, which is app.js. So in app.js, we need to import another new a few more functions. In this case, let's open and close the braces as well. So the first thing is routes. Basically, routes means we're gonna have another component called routes here, just to open the just to structure the code routes to our project. And also the next thing is route like this. Okay, so and this two directly comes from the same file, the same router. Let's just go here and just copy whatever that comes here, which is React router DOM. I'm just going to copy this, and there you go. We'll be pasting it right here. In this case, the reason why is that because all this browser router routes and route actually coming from the same dependency which we have just installed. So now next thing is that we're gonna make the first let's in this case this says app. So but then let's not do this yet. So let's cut it for a while. In this case, the first thing that I would like to open is called routes. So the first thing is routes, something like this, and of course it has to have its own open and closing component tag like this. And inside routes is where we're gonna list out all the route that should be directing to. and the first route that we should be doing is the root route. And for example, when you load a page and there's nothing in your link, so in your URL is what we're gonna decide the route. So in this case, the first route we're gonna set is, let me just open and close the route again. So route, and let me just close this thing. So route is basically what we're gonna determine, where we're gonna specify where exactly should our route should direct to. For example, for the first route, let's set the route, the path, which is this case the first path, which is just root path, which is just a slash here. This means that whatever comes by default in your URL is where this page is gonna lead. So inside route here is where we're gonna have element inside it. So elements actually is where we're gonna receive the content of the particular route. So now let's decide what should be inside the first route here. In this case, I'll have to put like a h1 tag here, and let's say I'll have to say this is home. Okay, so this is the basic, this very basic idea of how routes work. Whenever your URL ends with slash here, it should be showing home like this. So let's give and save all like this. And the next thing is we need to make this run. I'm just gonna npm start it, and let's wait for the localhost 3000 to give it a go, and then let's see what happens then. And there you go, guys. So right now, since your URL is basically the root path, we have not added any path or anywhere. So basically this is what you call your root path. So when your URL is at the root path, it should show home. And yeah, I think that's the first step here. Let me just show you what else can we do when we have a different route. Let's say this is the first route here. Let me just copy this, and I'll be just pasting it right below here. So the next thing is that, let's say if my path is, let's say book. So book is basically just a simple route. Just name it like this. Just gonna copy. Yeah, just make sure your URL is in small letter. In this case, I will say it's gonna be book here. And let's give it a save here. And let's go to our browser. And yeah, currently it has already been compiled. Now what we can do here is that now the URL is actually blank here, which means it's still in the route. This is root path. Yeah, that's what we call. So the next thing is, let's say if I add book. So when I add book, it should show book. The reason why is because we have implemented when the path is book, then it should show this element. So that's the basic idea. And then let's say if I don't have any basically like the root path, you should go to home. So that's the basic idea. So let's see if I did something else which does not come in any of these two, does not fall in any of these two routes. Let's say if I just put some random words like this. So basically it does nothing because it has nowhere else to go, because it's invalid. So that's the basic idea of routes. Route. So the next thing is that, okay, right now what we did here, this is just basic elements which is not going to be happening here. Now let's say I would like to go to a different page. So how do I go to a different page? So let's go to our source here. Let's create some page folder, like example pages. So like this, and inside our pages we're going to create some page here. For example, in this case I would like to have a page for myself. It's called let's just create a new file, book. In this case I'm just going to say book.js. Okay, this is going to be the page where we're going to set the book. In this case, of course, I'll be doing the RAFCE, which is the template which can be used to create your functional components. And I would say this is the book. This is the book page. Okay, that's the one. And let's say if I have another page for that, let's say I want to copy. Just like have a new folder, new file called book, and then I also like to have another page called home. So there'll be two pages here, which is home and as book here. In this case, I'll be doing the same thing, RAFCE, and I'll be just having this. I will just say this is home page, something like this. So I will just gonna hit save. So right now, what we just did here, we just created two pages, and two pages can be imported. I mean, we can actually import these two pages into app.js first. So how do we do that? Just need to make sure we import like this, and we need to specify the name, which is book, that comes from pages/books, something like this. And also we also have home page like this. Import home from pages /home, and that's the way how we call book and home. So let's specify home first. In this case, we won't be using this, but then we'll be using a component called home component like this, and it is a self-closing component like this, and also it also works for the same way like this. And let's close it, open it, /book, I mean capital B, followed by self-closing tag here like this. So as you can see here, what we just did here, we called two components, which is home component and book component, inside this separate path. So that's what we just did. Let's give it a save all, and let's go to our browser. So let's say the URL is blank. So the blank means supposed to go to home. So let's just say blank. And right now we have already gone to our home component like this. And let's say if we just put / and we just put book, we just put book like this, and it should say this is book page. So that's the basic idea. That's the basic idea of how route works, and that's the basic idea how it should be. How route can be. That's the basic here. So let's catch up more on how are we able to click on certain buttons that should direct us instead of just changing it manually on our URL. Let's see how are we able to change into, like, go to this particular route by clicking on buttons instead. So that's making buttons is the most contemporary way to actually go to one page instead of changing the URL here. So let's catch up in the next video. Thanks for watching.